Please wear your goggles in the lab.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, you're late. We already started. Go get your goggles and your apron on.
We only have like 15 minutes left. I'm not gonna get goggles.
It could spill.
It's not gonna spill unless you're stupid.
Whoa! Oh my eyes! Good see. Oh.
Always yell code 1 in case of emergency.
Someone help! Someone help!
Code 1.
Contact lenses should not be worn in the laboratory unless your teacher says it's okay. Let's talk about everything Amar did wrong in the lab. He did not have a lab apron on, nor did he have goggles on.
We don't have any mercury thermometers in the lab, but still, it's not a good idea to break them.
Amar, stop. We have to do this together.
Alex, what are you doing wearing sandals?
I didn't have time to go to my car.
Alex, you can't do this live.
Yes, I can. And you skipped step 5.
No, Alex, stop. Alex,
Stop.
No, stop, Alex.
Ow! Amar!
How is that my fault? You were fighting with me.
Conduct yourself in a responsible manner at all times in the laboratory. Follow all written and verbal instructions carefully. If you do not understand a direction or part of a procedure, ask the instructor before proceeding. Never work alone. No student may work in the laboratory without an instructor present. When first entering a science room, do not touch any equipment, chemicals, or other materials in the laboratory area unless you are instructed to do so. Do not eat food, drink beverages, or chew gum in the laboratory. Do not use laboratory glassware as containers for food or beverages. Perform only those experiments authorized by the instructor. Carefully follow all instructions, both written and oral. Be prepared for your work, read all procedures thoroughly, and never fool around in the laboratory. Horseplay, practical jokes, and pranks are dangerous and prohibited. Observe good housekeeping practices. Work areas should be kept clean and tidy at all times. Keep aisles clear. Push your chair under the desk when not in use. Know the locations and operating procedures of all safety equipment, including the first aid kit, eye wash station, safety shower, fire extinguisher, and fire blanket. Know where the fire alarm and the exits are located. Always work in a well-ventilated area. Use the fume hood when working with volatile substances or poisonous vapors. Never place your head into the fume hood. Be alert and proceed with caution at all times in the laboratory. Notify the instructor immediately of any unsafe conditions you observe. Dispose of all chemical waste properly. Never mix chemicals in sink drains. Sinks are to be used only for water and those solutions designated by the instructor. Solid chemicals, metals, matches, filter paper, and all other insoluble materials are to be disposed of in proper waste containers, not the sink. Labels and equipment instructions must be read carefully before use. Set up and use the prescribed apparatus as directed in the laboratory instructions or by your instructor. Keep hands away from face, eyes, mouth, and body while using chemicals or preserved specimens. Wash your hands with soap and water after performing all experiments. Clean, rinse, wipe dry all work surfaces and apparatus at the end of the experiment. Return all equipment clean and in working order to the proper storage area. Experiments must be personally monitored at all times. You will be assigned a laboratory station at which to work. Do not wander around the room, distract other students, or interfere with laboratory experiments of others. Students are never permitted in the science storage rooms or preparation areas unless given specific permission by their instructor. Know what to do if there is a fire drill during a laboratory period. Containers must be closed, gas valves turned off, fume hoods turned off, and any electrical equipment turned off. Handle all living organisms used in a laboratory activity in a humane manner. Preserved biological materials are to be treated with respect and disposed of properly. When using knives and other sharp instruments, always carry with tips and points pointing down and away. Always cut away from your body. Never try to catch falling sharp instruments. Grasp sharp instruments only by the hand.
Chemicals in the laboratory are to be considered dangerous. Do not touch, taste, or smell any chemicals unless specifically instructed to do so. The proper technique for smelling chemical fumes will be demonstrated to you. Check the label on chemical bottles twice before removing any of the contents. Take only as much chemicals as you need. Acids must be handled with extreme care. You will be shown the proper method for diluting strong acids. Always add acid to water, swirl or stir the solution, and be careful of the heat produced, particularly with sulfuric acid. Handle flammable hazardous liquids over a pan to contain spills. Never dispense flammable liquids anywhere near an open flame or source of heat. When transferring reagents from one container to another, hold the containers away from the body. Never return unused chemicals to their original containers. Never use mouth suction to fill a pipette. Use a rubber bulb or pipette pump. Take great care when transferring acids and other chemicals from one part of the laboratory to another. Hold them securely and walk carefully. Never remove chemicals or other materials from the laboratory area. Fill wash bottles only with distilled water and use only as intended. For example, rinsing glassware and equipment or adding water to a container. Carry glass tubing, especially long pieces, in a vertical position to minimize the likelihood of breakage and injury. Inserting and removing glass tubing from rubber stoppers can be dangerous. Always lubricate glassware, tubing, this little tubes, thermometer, etc. before attempting to insert in a stopper. Always protect your hands with towels or cotton gloves when inserting glass tubing into or removing it from a rubber stopper. If a piece of glassware becomes frozen in a stopper, take it to your instructor for removal. Do not immerse hot glassware in cold water. It may shatter. Examine glassware before each use. Never use chipped or cracked glassware. Never use dirty glassware. Never handle broken glass with your bare hands. Use a brush and dustpan to clean up broken glass. Place broken or waste glassware in the designated glass disposal container. If you do not understand how to use a piece of equipment, ask the instructor for help. Report damaged electrical equipment immediately. Look for things such as frayed cords, exposed wires, and loose connections. Do not use damaged electrical equipment. When removing an electrical plug from an outlet, grasp the plug, not the electrical cord. Hands must be completely dry when touching an electrical switch near an outlet.
Take care that hair, clothing, and hands are a safe distance from the flame at all times.
Never leave a lit burner unattended.
Hey, Rex, do you feel happy with this?
Do not put any substance into the flame unless specifically instructed to do so.
Hot and cold glass have the same visual appearance. Use tongs or heat protective gloves to pick up heated glass and metals.
Do you think it's heated enough?
Don't point the open end of a test tube being heated at yourself or anyone else.
Check.
Oh, my eyes! Oh, not again! Oh, code 1! Code 1!